One of the great things that the powerful, late, great Kevin Samuels did was show us the power of amazing listening skills. This is Pastor Hank Tyrone from the Full Folk coming here live and direct. While I was taking me a nice little dinner break, I'm going to watch an episode from Modern Women's Surrender. This was Kevin Samuels, one of his last episodes that he had on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night from 10 to 2 a.m. This was approximately 2 hours and 22 minutes, which is average. And normally at about an hour and 25 minutes after he does his great monologues, and he then has what we call the call-in. And this is where most of the women will call in because he does consultations during the day, which he was with most women that have high value. But during the nighttime, because of the word of mouth, women called in to give their opinion. What I want to talk specifically about is that at 1 hour, 26 minutes, 25 seconds in the blog. This is the title of the video. You can go look it up on YouTube. It's still making waves. Only about 333,000 views so far because there's over 800 videos that he has. And most guys are using these little clips to make their own channel. And I said, why can't I sit back and make myself my own little channel? But some guys would just want to make shorts where they would just try to get a simple, deep concept that Kevin Samuels and his amazing wisdom and knowledge as a social scientist would provide. But as a man of God, I'm here to give both sides of the story. The female and the male side. Now, how can I talk about females? Well, like Kevin Samuels, I listen to a lot of females and ask lots of questions of them, and I'm very observant. That's what Kevin Samuels was. You're going to hear him right now as he says this section. This was his birthday. Sadly, he passed away a year later after this, shortly after his birthday. And I'm not sure what date this was on. Let me click on the more button and see what date this was on. It doesn't say. Sometimes it tells you more and gives you an actual date, but he turned it off. I'm a content creator as well. And what we're gonna hear is a now 39-year-old woman. She was 38 at the time. Calls in, a new San Diego resident. Think about it for a moment. 39 now. She has a 10-year-old son. Do the math, okay? We're gonna find out that the guy that she had a son with was probably in his 50s. And she wanted a man that was closer to her age. As Kevin Samuels will argue, the guy was a stupid dutz. He was loose with his sperm, as we all have been, because we want to be inside that vagina, and that woman is going to be, of course, healthy and clean. The only bad part is she wants to get pregnant. She gets pregnant at age 30. The guy that she gets pregnant by, she doesn't marry. They were together for 2 years. Kevin then asked the question, why did y'all dating for 2 years if you weren't going to marry him? And for all the critics and the detractors of Kevin Samuels, the bad parts about Kevin Samuels far are limited to his good parts. His good parts far outweigh his bad parts. Kevin Samuels cared about honor and integrity, despite the fact he wasn't a devout pastor. He may have been a singles minister, he may have been a typical basic Christian, but he cared about marriages, and he cared about black men and women having good marriages, as he has been through two, and they both failed. Instead of Kevin Samuels going through 2,500 girls and being like a Derek Jackson, another YouTube content creator who divorced his wife to chase other thoughts, and his wife is broken and hurt forever because of the man that she chose. I will argue that both of Kevin's ex-wives wish they could be with Kevin Samuels again. Because Kevin Samuels grew, and I hope those ex-wives did as well. Because now, we're coming on 11 months since he passed, and his channel is blowing up even bigger after his death. How powerful that is. And he wasn't a devout Christian, I admit. I totally disagree with a lot of his premises, and that's why I think he's not with us, because God judged him. But just like the devil, the devil knows a lot of good word, but he also sprinkles in a lot of evil, false, twisted doctrine that only the smart and the skilled, those that study to show themselves approved, a workman that's going to be unashamed. That's 2 Timothy 2:15 verse. Rightly dividing God's word, the word of truth, can be able to diagnose. And unfortunately, Kevin Samuels said a lot of things that I disagreed that were unbiblical. But he said some things that I agreed with that were biblical. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to watch this episode unfold. The tragedy was that a young 38-year-old girl, who's now 39, ended up leaving the man that she had a baby with, giving up adoption to the child at 9 years old so she can go move to another state for a man that was in a divorce, and she was waiting for it to be final. So we're talking about that 2-year separation where guys are separated but they're making love and having adultery with their wives. So they are biblically cursed. Not just Deuteronomy 28 as a black race, but biblically cursed on the Leviticus codes of the Old Testament. Thou shalt not commit adultery. At the same time, At the same time, she does not recognize, you'll see this pretty girl. And I want you to hear me tell you about her first before you see her face. Because once you see her face, you instantly, as if you're a human being and a man, you forget that inside of that face is a spirit and possesses a soul. And that soul is the soul of this broken woman who decided that I wanted a baby at age 30. I had to have a child because I was 30, right? Instead of just accepting the fact that maybe I don't have a child, maybe I don't get pregnant. And that's why I say that, because what's the consequence? Giving your son up to your baby's father. He's going to hate your gut when he turns 18. The way that many men hate their mamas today because of what their mamas did to them. Come on, little bells. Come on, baby girl. Come on. And so the biggest thing that breaks my heart is she's the kind of girl that I've dated in my past. We're talking about college graduate, master's degree, educated, but they come from broken homes, and all of us come from broken homes. But the difference is the introspection that Kevin Samuels has done versus the introspection that this now 39-year-old woman has done. Watch the tragedy of what she does for a man, and why. And I wanted you to listen closely at how the late great Kevin Samuels, in his phenomenal way, explains to her how evil she is. But then he goes and says to the man, verbally, which is an adulterer himself, which I think is wrong. And that's why I said Kevin was not 100% biblically correct. And there are a lot of premises that he said that I don't like, her high value man can cheat, aka have options. Well, no, high value man, low value man, average man can't cheat. If you get in a relationship, yes, you may want another vagina. We all have been there. But either A, you break it off and get a new one. But if you get married, you can't cheat on your wife. Leviticus codes tell you the consequences of those actions. And even if you don't believe those consequences, the consequences still come upon you, aka in the filing of divorce against you in the court of law. So you may not think you're paying a biblical curse, but you're going to pay a human curse because the court system is pro-women, and you will pay and be taken away financially for your decision. And instead of just getting a divorce, going through that curse, and getting a new relationship the right way. Let's listen to Kevin Samuels talk to this girl who, at the end of it, and this will be about 10 minutes long, she is going to go into a 2-minute straight talk because her whole mindset was, come on, boobies. Her whole mindset was to speak her piece. And I want you as women and men, but definitely men, because I'm a singles pastor and I'm a male, so I'm going to come from a male perspective. And I'm going to state this truth to women. Y'all like to talk. And when a man talks and doesn't tell you to shut up, y'all get mad. I had a girlfriend that I dated, my last relationship. She was, at that time, 38 years old. And I'm 44 at that time. And I'm a man that has been spending 25 years studying relationships, as well as my own relationships and my failures. So, of course, I'm applying this wisdom to the relationship I'm having with her. And the first time in my life, she said something to me that blew me away, and I realized how immature she was. She said, for a man, you talk a lot. Now, this is before I had my YouTube channel that I have now, before I started doing the YouTube channels, actually. And I could have been doing them there back then. I wish I had. This, of course, was back in 2018. And the relationship ended just 7 months later. But it was a girl that I had known from about 17 years earlier. And a lot has changed in our lives in 17 years. The tragedy was that her life changed for the worse while mine went for the better. And the tragic part about it was not only was her life tragic, her siblings, her mom, her dad, it was generational curse. Not generational African American. She was a white woman. So it even let me realize that the curses, yes, of Deuteronomy 28 apply to African Americans, but it also applies to non as well. Because if this woman supposedly was a woman of God who had been living for the Lord, who had been a minister going over to Africa, supposedly as a missionary. Come to find out by people that told me, and I believe them as being honest because I don't know them. They stalked me out of the blue. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I have 5,000 Facebook so-called friends. So the media of social media works huge for me, which means that if you are a liar, everybody's gonna know it. You do something wrong, 5,000 people gonna find out about it. I mean, the way we live in today with social media, and I'm not very famous, but just imagine I got famous as Kevin Samuels. If I did something tragic, they would destroy me like they try to destroy Kevin Samuels, because the vitriol that he stated and the arguments that he stated made a lot of white and black and women in general, a lot of feminist women angry. But he also made a lot of black men angry as well, because a lot of black men have been brought up in the no diggity, Teddy Riley, 90s generation of sex, put women on a pedestal, worship them. And then we wonder now in 2023 why we are in the problems that we are today, because of the problems in the music that we learned back in the 90s. But that's also because of what in the 90s we were learning from the people in the 70s. So every 20 years we see the transformation of the generations, and we go look at the 60s and we see the transformation of sex and the feminist movement all the way now the 2023 is going into 2024 and future 2030. I'm here to say, as Kevin Samuels spoke so eloquently about it, the future is going to be worse for us as a people. Let's listen to this powerful message on this day, March the 25th, at 9:48 p.m.
How?
Here we go. The girl that's coming up is the one the bottom.
Right. So see, that's what I mean. So many of our women know that they're not. And no offense, man, but what you basically just showed is so many of our women are not wives. So you're not in any real hurry to get to wife. 2 years? Okay. Cool. Waste that time.
Now, one thing that what he just talked about, and I would definitely encourage you to go watch the full 2 hours, was he was basically saying modern women need to surrender to men. His arguments, I would say I would give him 70% correct, 30% not, and could be debated. But I give him more percentage of truth than false or debatability. The problem is he doesn't break down the argument that the African American people, the 12% of us that are classified as black by white people, and we know how we're classified, okay? You can say that you're black, you can say that you're mixed, you can say that you got this number percentage, but when a white person looks at you in the mirror, in the face, they will classify you as an N-word. They will classify you as a black, no matter how well you talk, no matter if your name is Henry or Tyrone, they will classify you. And that's the only 12% of us that are still alive today from those that came in 1619 as slaves. But guess what? Our heritage goes way beyond that, unfortunately, but millions of people that live in America don't know it, don't want to know it, don't want to study the Bible to find out the truth. So for those of us that are doing that, we got the wisdom, we got the revelation. But what we found as we were studying the Word of God was that there were curses put on us as a race of people thousands of years ago, way before 1619, okay? Way before 1519, 1419, 1319, 1219, 1019. Way before AD 70 when Yeshua, when Jerusalem fell. Way before when Yeshua was murdered. Way before that. We're talking thousands of years before he was even born. So when we look at ourselves in the standpoint of history of the Word of God, we find out the truth. Shout out to Benjamin H. Friedman, who was an Ashkenaz who gave up that and taught and told the world back in 1954 these truths in his books, Facts Are Facts, which is phenomenal, that teaches and shows the truth that millions of people have been trying to obfuscate or hide around the world. But thank God we don't have to be afraid anymore. We got viralness. We got the aspect of Google now. The day when they shut down Google and they shut down a computer, we might be in trouble. But at least at this moment in time, the people that want to control the knowledge can't control it like they did back in the 80s or in the 70s or in the 60s or in the 50s or in the 40s or in the 30s and the 20s and on. So the girl that's at the very top left, she was a woman that basically has said to Kevin Samuels that she does not know how to be a wife because her mother never taught her how to be a wife. Yet she wants to be a wife. She has no kids. Looking at her face, she's under the age of 30. Looking at her wearing the bonnet, she doesn't have a lot of hair. Typical African Hebrew Israelite, us. We're not born with long, stringy hair as the Europeans and other ethnic groups around the world. God made that for a reason. There's a purpose why we have a big, fat, wide nose. There's a purpose why we look the way we look. There's a purpose why we have melanin in our skin that prevents cancer while other races get it tremendously. There's a reason, but at the same time, there's also a curse. So what we're going to find out the curses are, and the biggest one in Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 through 68, is the curses on relationships between the male and the female. And when we look in our relationship world, we see African Americans who, in essence, hate each other and are now marrying out. So what's going on is Kevin Samuels was arguing that men should marry out or have interracial kids with other races, as if a woman that's Asian or a woman that's European, French, Dutch, Swedish, whatever, is going to produce a child that's going to love the black people. It won't. And the reason why it can't is because the other woman is of another race. She has another 4 grandparents and 4 great grands and a whole history that is not African. And even though the people that are mixed can make love and have sex, like we all can with anybody, any girl can be raped, any girl can be made love to, any woman can have a baby with a black man. Black men are having sex right now with Asians and whites and all across the board here in 2023. But the consequence, I hear to say, is that you're going to pay. And the tragedy about this, sadly, is that they won't see it for another 15 years. They won't see it until that child is 25 and then makes the bad choices that they were destined to make because of the ignorance of the parents when they were having sex to make that child. And I'm here to argue that as long as the African American male, because we have the sperm, as long as the African American male, the one God created and gave the commandments to be fruitful and multiply, as long as he don't understand that God had a purpose for him to marry his African woman and make relations and make a legacy, a nation, every choice he makes will be failure. It took me a long time to come to that revelation because I was a person I dated outside my race. But when I did it, I hate to say, it was before I started really researching who I am as a Hebrew Israelite. I thought of myself as a Gentile who got engrafted into the vine, like so many millions of black people think that we are today, only from the ideal of who we were in 1619 in Richmond, Virginia, in the Confederate Deep South, and having nothing. We are way older and come from greatness. But unfortunately, that lie is not being told. And that's why I'm preaching this and teaching this and making this blog. And you can go on my YouTube page and you can see videos. I already have other YouTube videos about this area, which is a very big passion of mine. And one area that I'm working to get my master's and my doctor of divinity with this as my thesis, as my dissertation, which is going to make a lot of so-called Ashkenazis very angry and a lot of white people very angry, but I don't give up because I now know who I am. And when you know who you are, no one can take that away from you. Praise the Lord. But let's see this girl at the bottom here named a little European name, like my name, Henry. Her name, Ashley. We consider these are white names. This girl is intelligent. She went to school, got a bachelor's in accountant, which is a very hard profession. I tell you straight up. Very female profession as well. Very boring profession, but it's a very rich profession, just like law. And it pays well, $100,000 more, no question. But the choice that she made in the selection of her baby's father and now her new boyfriend that she's talking about moving and getting a house and playing daddy, mommy, effing before marriage, shows you that she is unsaved and uncivilized in the sense that she believes, like millions of people do today, that we carry before we marry, and we live in a house before we get married. So it's like, I don't need to marry this kind of woman. You've already proven your self-worth by the mere fact of what you did with your babies, your first child, at the age of 9. He was 9 in this video. He's 10 now. Now, I agree that a boy that's 9 years old need to be with his father. I do. My father left me and went to make other kids with other vaginas for years. I have approximately about, I think, 8 siblings, maybe more. I don't even know them all. And my father has been pretty much disowned all of them. And because he was lying in every relationship he was in, and when the woman caught up to his lies, he left to get the next woman. He's now about 77 years of age, and he is on his way to dying. And judgment is going to come upon him because of the sins of his past. He can argue, well, I ask God for forgiveness. Millions of us do. We throw that out there, but he never went back to his own children that he authored and created. And unless he can get something from them, unless he can manipulate and use them for his advantage. That's deceitfulness, that's sociopath, that's psychopath, that's evil. God hates it, I hate it, and we hate any man that operates that way. And so the man that we're talking about in this blog here is a man who operated that way. He was married with kids from his first wife. He starts having sex with this girl here at the bottom named Ashley. You can look at her face and you can see she's, very, very much wants to talk to Kevin Samuels. And believe me, Kevin's about to get blown up on this girl once he does his typical 15 questions to get your history and find out that she decided, like a lot of women do today, my ex-girlfriend did it, and a lot of women to do it today. They will go after married, divorced, in process men, in progress. That's what I would do say. Divorce in progress, meaning you can't just write a divorcement letter. It takes 2 years. And they want you to make up. But these guys, and girls, already start having sex with someone else. So it's just, I gotta bide my time. So it's never gonna come back. And they use the old hold irreconcilable differences term. And we call that the no-fault divorce that Ronald Reagan put together. May he burn in hell. Because that decision that he cited in California became the law of the land, and that's why we look at divorce the way we look at it today. That's why we look at pregnancy and abortions like the way we look at it today. Oh, I can get pregnant anytime. Oh, I can get married anytime because I can get divorced anytime because I can have an abortion anytime. The sickness of where we are today compared to where we were in 1940. Despicable. But the Bible says we're in the last days, so let's see the last days play out here.
I'm just saying that's crazy to me, but that's okay. Does your grandmother? Hold on, unmute yourself, man. Does your grandmother? Was she with your grandfather 2 years before they got married? Ashley, unmute yourself. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. So my grandmother was not married.
Well, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 38.
Are you single or are you married?
I am single.
Any children?
Yes. One son who's 9.
Okay, go ahead.
He currently lives with his dad.
Okay, go ahead. Should modern women surrender?
I am in the process of surrendering.
To whom? To whom?
To a gentleman who's interested in me. So a year ago, I relocated from the East Coast to the West Coast. So right now, I'm living in San Diego. And so the two of us have been doing this thing where it's like a long distance relationship, but it's an open relationship right now. So,
an open relationship?
Yeah. So.
Do you understand what that woman just said? Do y'all understand what that woman just said? And have you, as a woman, ever said some BS to another man? Now, in this case, Kevin Samuels like the social scientist, right? He's not trying to date her. He's not trying to throw his penis at her. He talks to thousands of women like a doctor, like a Ph.D., a social scientist, and he's getting evidence. As he said, which I agree, I am. I'm writing a dissertation on this man. I would say not millions, but I would say over the next 20 years, there's going to be 30 to 40 PhDs that do their dissertation on Kevin Samuels alone. Okay? Because he did more in last, I hate to say it, 4 years of life than a lot of so-called Steve Harveys out there have done in 30 years. And I'm sad to say it, but it's the truth. And everything he said wasn't true. But if I ever said that to any girl, no. Have I ever said, oh, I got a girlfriend back in Sandusville, Georgia. And we long distance, but we're in an open relationship. When I was in a long distance relationship, I never looked at it open. I recently got in a long distance relationship with a girl that, like I said earlier, I met from when I was in Bible school in seminary back in 2001 at Rainbow Bible College, or now Rainbow Bible College and University. And I did not like her at that time. There was something weird about her. Of course, I was a very broke dick dog, excuse my French. As any Bible school student is, you don't have anything. And I also had a tragedy at the time. So what ended up happening was years go by. Well, you always know when our Facebook comes into play. And you know what Facebook is, as Kevin Samuel would say, hey, big head, when a girl throws that out there to you, that means I want to talk to you. I want to holler at you. I'm interested in you. It only happens when they see some value in you. So in a situation, 16 years goes by. She throws out a hey big head on YouTube. I had just broke up with a girl who I've been dating at that time off and on for about 6 years. And I finally broke up with her. Wrongfully, I should have never been with her. But again, I had spent a whole decade alone when I was in seminary from 2001 to 2011. Couldn't find a girl that wanted to work with me. And I was trying to go to school. And it was hard being the oldest guy in your college classes. You can't talk to kids that are younger than you because I was 12 years older than everybody when I was in college. I went to full-time university, but I was an old man, and wow, so I was able to, the miracle, get to college, where most people who are in their 30s that go to college go to night college. They go to some non-traditional route. I did a traditional route. And I'm grateful I made it through, and it was very hard. But it was a price, because all my friends that were younger than me dated the girls that they went to school with. And they got some happy marriages today. Many of the brothers that I was hanging around with that are now master's degree guys, Ph.Ds now, dated AKAs, Deltas, Sigma Gamma Rhos. I mean, the way we all wish we could be. And I went to a predominantly white university. So if I was at an HBCU, I probably could have met more black women. But I was an average guy who was an ignorant mama's boy beta male. So I'm a smart intellectual nerd like Kevin Samuels was. But the problem was I was too poor to get into martial arts, learn how to fight, and become the alpha man until I got in the Army. And that's where I learned the alpha side than the military. But if it wasn't for the military, I would learn how to fight, I want to learn how to shoot, I want to learn how to be that alpha man that every woman wants. So what Kevin Samuels have been arguing about is high value man and what they want. And the girls, of course, are calling in because they say they want a high value man. This woman right here is talking about a man right now that is divorcing, and it finalized probably 2 years later, but they were having sex throughout that relationship. She's lying, and if she said we just gonna be friends. Women do not be friends with men, okay? And there's no sexual connection. If a woman ever says let's be friends and we'll talk in 3 years and you don't have sex, let me tell you straight up, you're not gonna get her in 3 years. It's over. There's somebody else that she's going to give it to. It's common sense. And I'm talking for the most devout Christian woman that's a child of a pastor to the most freakiest unsaved woman out there. The whole spectrum, left and right. The point I'm making is the friend zone is real and the sex zone is real. And so this girl's gonna say that I met this guy, and he's gonna ask her the basic questions. Do you have kids? Does the guy you with have kids? The answer to both those questions is yes. She's gonna say that I gave my son up at 9 years old to the father of the child who had to be in his, I guess she said 5 years older. So 5 years obviously is a big difference, right? Because you're gonna notice in a second when Kevin asked the question, why did you have a child with this man that you didn't really care about, that you didn't really love? And the bottom line, she's gonna say out of her own crazy mouth, I was 30 and I wanted to have a baby before I have any birth defects. And that's why a lot of women want to have babies, because they're like, well, I know if I have a baby at 40, there's a high chance of autism, and I don't want to have an autistic kid, so let me have a baby right now, and then break up, or that fall apart, and then she didn't think this far ahead, that now I want another guy, and probably the other guy don't want your kid. So what the girl do? Please. She gave that child up to her father, which sounds great in a lot of cases. Because in most cases, our fathers weren't even there in our homes. My dad was gone when I was 5, and I never seen him since. I'm 48. So let's hear her tell her story. Watch how crazy this gets.
He's been kind of waiting on me. I'm sure that he's...
What do you mean waiting on you? Waiting on you meaning what? Waiting on you meaning what?
Good question.
While I figured things out. So I had an opportunity, a job opportunity out here in San Diego. So I took it. I've been fortunate enough to have, a lot of support from family.
Okay, hold on. Stop. How long have you been seeing this man?
So it's going on 2 years.
Does he have any kids?
Yes, he does. From a prior marriage.
So this man has been waiting.
So now, this man, he doesn't ask how many kids, but this is a man who's been married, has kids, failed marriage because of his sins and her sins, and now goes into divorce mode, right? In progress. Meets this second girl who we see on the camera here, and tries to rush it, as she's gonna say in a minute. But the girl says, supposedly, I didn't want to rush it because you are, quote unquote, still into the process of divorce. Kevin Samuel's going to say, you're committing adultery. And she's going to say, well, there's different levels of, it's not full adultery. There is like medium adultery or half adultery. I mean, just the amount of the mental gymnastics, this intelligent master's degree person that knows all of the laws for accounting principles, those GAP, general acceptable accounting principles, and knows all of that. But when it came down to making a choice about going from the first penis to the second penis, her only option was a man was married that has 3 kids or more than 1 kid in the middle of the divorce. Didn't even wait for the guy. Didn't vet the guy to say, hey, how long you been, when are you, first off, you a divorce? Bye. And that's what Kevin's gonna say. That's the point I wanna make sure is so powerful about you, sir. You charged up millions of women online with this video right here, letting them know, and I'm gonna say it now as well, that's BS. For any man or any woman to go and get with someone in the process of divorce. But see, I'm a singles pastor. I see this stuff every day. And the reality that is that women and men are having sex every night, every minute of the day. Married couples are cheating on their wives every minute of the day. Married men, married women, they're cheating. The fact is, she's just another one. But I love that Kevin Samuels, in such an eloquent manner, destroys her in now national television.
On you. So you lived in the same geography at one time?
I did.
So you moved away for a job?
Yes.
Dude, leave her.
So right now you hear him giving it, because this is a generalization. He assuming that the guy was a good guy, and that she left for a job instead of staying where she's at for her man. Okay? So he says you leave her. Well, watch what happens next. Watch we find out what kind of man that he thought he was and he wasn't. Watch this.
Well,
Leave
we're
her,
just
leave her,
traveling here.
leave
I
her,
travel.
leave her, leave her.
Well, this is the thing. So now we're looking for homes together.
No, 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 no,
So
no, no, no.
Now, this is the thing. Now we're looking for homes together. Why, how did it jump from you moving to now we're looking for homes together? It's obvious that y'all not in the same city because you just said you left that city for a job, which means that he is not in your city. So now she goes, we're looking for homes together. Now remember, she said earlier that she has a 9-year-old. The 9-year-old is with the father that, as you're about to find out, is somewhere in that same city that she left. So now is she gonna move back from San Diego? She's probably from Los Angeles or Oakland. A lot of people don't just jump ship and move across the country like that. And then you go to San Diego where there's such a small percentage of blacks. You know, it's like as a black woman, you come from some very wealthy family members. You know, that's a big jump. And again, people just don't move cross country easily. It's very hard. I did it only once, and twice, excuse me. And both times were hard, very hard. And I haven't had the blessing to do it, since. Maybe God will give me an opportunity, but not yet.
No, 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 no. You left a man for a job.
Kevin, okay. So let me tell you.
First of all, I want to be clear on what I'm saying. You left a man for a job.
Well, we weren't in a relationship.
Okay. Okay, but was it?
How was that? You left a man for a job. So what do you mean you weren't in a relationship at that time? I'm doing like Kevin, man. I'm listening really close to what women say, more today than ever before. What she was saying was, well, I left him for that time. So in essence, we started having sex, then I broke it off. I leave because I'm now angry because I'm a mistress now and I kind of feel bad about it. And now the guy is trying to now, so baby, I want you now, I want you. Despite that he has an ex-wife and kids that he's responsible for. No longer loves the wife anymore and wants her to be that wife, okay? And the tragedy about this whole thing is that Kevin don't even know, but he's about to find out because he's about to ask these deeper questions. She is just as culpable as this evil guy, and I'm charging both of them up.
You said how long you been with this man? You said for 2 years.
Yeah.
Is it in an open relationship for 2? Sound do not overtalk me. I'll let you get it out, but you see, the thing is, I'm gonna control what comes out. You can't overtalk me. I'm gonna get to what it is, so you might as well just tell the truth.
I am.
Okay, well then, walk with the process. Were you guys in an open relationship the entire time?
No.
Okay, were you guys in a committed monogamous relationship when you moved?
Yes.
So how can you be watch this? The guy is in the middle of a divorce. So she just caught herself and screwed herself there. So she moves and they're in a committed relationship. Meaning that at first she said a few seconds ago, oh, we weren't in a relationship at the time when I moved. But then all of a sudden he asked the straight question, were you in a committed monogamous relationship at the time you moved? And what did the person say? Yes. So what that means, technically, is that she was having sex with this guy. You can't be in a monogamous relationship with a person that hadn't had to finalize the divorce. And watch this. It's nasty. Sick.
Then leave her.
But you have to know the whole story.
Nope.
Story, the
we
short
don't.
version.
Okay, go ahead.
You would be proud of me.
You'll be proud of me.
So this
Now she
person,
goes, you'll be proud of me. She really thinks like in her mind, you're gonna be proud of me because she's been listening to Kevin Samuels. She's been listening and she really thinks that she's changed because of Kevin. And she thinks she knows him. Like, I've been listening to you, I've been following you, I've been listening. Like I'm doing now. The problem is there's a big difference between watching people run a race and you going to run that race yourself. You got to get in shape to be able to be in a successful relationship. You got to be in shape to be able to be in a successful marriage. You should never date nobody that's in the process of divorce or divorce in progress. It's ridiculous, but women do it. Why? Because they wanted to. She's gonna say in the end of the video, I wanted it, I was selfish, which shows you the lack of love for herself, for the sociopathic, psychopathic mentality that women and men can have when they choose somebody on their particular wants and their needs versus what is morally correct and right by the word of God.
he was in the process of a divorce, a nasty divorce when we started talking. He was wanting to kind of speak.
A nasty divorce. So now you heard that. She threw it out there. I missed that. A nasty divorce. I've heard this like 5 times. But now she's going to say in the process of a divorce. But remember what she just said. When you left, were you in a monogamous sexual relationship? She said yes. Which means that you were in the process of that when he's in the process of a divorce. You sick uck.
Things up between he and I, and I wanted to take things slow out of respect for that marriage and the divorce, and the fact that he has 3 children from that marriage.
Ooh, there it is. That's why I thought it was 3 kids. So there it is. 3 kids, 3 lives. So this man's got a lot of money, right, to be talking about getting a house with you, second wifey, that's gonna marry into and be stepmom to 3 kids. Right? But she said also, well, I gave my son up to his father, the other guy, so I get to marry into this rich dude. This guy had money. This was not a poor person that has 3 kids. There's a lot of black men out there that are very poor. They got 3, 4, 5, 8 kids. This is not the kind of woman that's going to date those guys. This is a guy like me, making 100,000 plus. And this is the kind of girl that can destroy a man like me. Thank God. That's why I'm learning and listening, and I won't let it be me. But unfortunately, that way we won't let it be us is to have these conversations like we're doing about relationships and stuff like that. Come on, people, boobies. Come on, boobies. So let's keep listening. I'm gonna let it flow all the way.
So it's just been a lot to consider. I will say that I am surrendering now because.
Just to be clear, you were not married to your. Just to be clear, you weren't married to your child's father.
Watch.
No, we weren't.
How long were y'all together?
We were together for about 2 years.
Before you got pregnant?
Yes. And then.
Hold on. You were together 2 years before you got pregnant?
Almost 2 years.
Why didn't y'all get married?
He's a lot older than I.
By how many years?
What difference does it make? You carried his. Hold on, ma'am. I don't understand why you like. I don't care.
By how many years?
You had his child. Why didn't you marry him?
There you go. That's the most important question.
Because
what?
Like I said, I think that we were already going in different directions.
Stop. Man.
Wait a minute. I had to throw that too. She threw out the BS term because we were going in different directions. See that vagueness BS crap women can use? What does that mean actually? And I love what Kevin Samuels is going to do right now, because that's exactly what I would do to every woman that says bull crap like this.
And I agree. Like I said,
I said stop. I said stop.
Thank you. This girl could not shut up. Every time there was a pause, she had to fill the room with some words. This is a good problem to see in people. If they can't stop and let you think in a conversation, I had an ex-girlfriend named Marianne. That's exactly how she was. She would talk literally for 30 minutes, and I was not bold enough to say, stop, stop, stop. She was, and I let her just run her mouth. I was a beta male, weak, and I was weak and weak and weak and weak. And we're gonna watch a real man right here be an alpha male to tell her what to shut up, and watch how she tries to keep talking and keep talking. She will not shut up her mouth. And he's gonna start playing the sound bites that are degrading to her, and she still doesn't stop talking.
Okay.
I said stop. You've been telling this story so long. I don't buy the bullshit.
Thank you.
You were with a man that the relationship, he's older than da 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 da. See, what we as men here, I'm gonna be honest. Are you ready? What me as men here, why the F did you have his kid then? If he was older than you and going, Why did you have his kid if he was older and you were going in different directions? You'd already been in a relationship for 2 years.
What Kevin Samuels is trying to do is get you to understand. That's all Kevin Samuels is trying to do. He's trying to make you think and understand. And all she's doing is trying to just retort. I've met broken women. I'm talking master's degrees, MBAs, PhDs, broken women that still do this crap, and that's why they're gonna die alone.
Yeah.
Why did you have a baby?
Well, because I was almost 30. And
Thank you. Selfish.
See how he she was honest in a stupid fault. This was called stupid honest. There is honesty, and there is honesty where you actually can reflect and you can say, yeah, like I do write my blogs on my channel. But there is honesty where you don't even reflect the change. Honesty is supposed to change you for the better. It's supposed to make you think about what you did wrong so you can transform your ways. But there's another type of honesty where they just like, I hate to say it, it's a mental illness. They like to just get pity parties. They like to always, say, yeah, I know I messed up, but they never change. They keep messing up. They keep doing the same thing. And they like the fact that people feel bad for them. They get off on it. They get off on your facial expressions. They get off on how you react to their mental illness. And Kevin Samuels is outstanding at recognizing that. He picks it up instantly, and that's what I'm working on.
Selfish. Just like I said. I'm sorry, audience. I call it. Y'all may not understand that I know how to read stuff, but I read selfish. Selfish. You were involved with a man who's not even divorced, Ham. You dated an older man. You're shush. You involved with a man who's older, and we're going in different directions. Then you should have just let the relationship end. But no, your clock was ticking, and you found a man that was loose with his seed. This is what they do. Modern women do this too often. You
heard the little clock? That's his soundbite. It's phenomenal. And that's the bull crap. And I hate to say it, it's never going to stop. Just like people that are prostitutes, selling their bodies here on Skid Row on TV that I'm watching right now, or those that sell their bodies on a strip club or on a porn star video. There's gonna be people like this that want to have babies because they're 30 and they don't want to be a barren woman. Because they're having a vagina and the ovaries means that they deserve to have a kid. And the tragic part about it, though, is that they are, in essence, failures. Because those kids are going to be failures. And that's the worst thing in the world. I think about that more than anything else. I think about the failures of the kids. I think about how those kids are going to pay. I mean, I'm a man now. I'm an adult. And the worst thing in the world would be to have a child that's from my loins that is suffering because I wasn't doing the right thing as a parent to raise that child. That's why I'm so glad I don't have any kids, because I know the man I was at age 25 effed up. 30 effed up. 35 effed up. 40 effed up. 45 effed up. Now I could have a kid, but I'm not because I'm too old. So I'm grateful that it may have taken me this long to come to the revelation of what a real man is and masculinity, but this is the curse of Deuteronomy 28, and I'm beating that curse by not making the same mistakes every generation keeps remaking.
No, they're about to hit the door and they will take a baby from you guys. Stop having unprotected sex with modern women.
Yes. Yes.
You may not like my way of saying it, man, but I'm here for the men, and they need to watch out for this shit.
No, I agree with
Well,
you.
I agree with
Why
you.
would this woman come out? And this is why I said the BS. She don't really agree. She just saying that word. I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay. This is crazy. I rode down in San Bernardino, California, and there are girls on the street corner selling their bodies in broad daylight, and they're walking in heels in broad day, not nighttime, not at night where this would happen at, in the daytime, and they know they're prostitutes, and of course guys are chasing these girls, paying these girls for condom sex, and the tragedy is it's because the guys are poor and broke, the girls are poor and broke, and they're selling their body because they got no options and nothing else to do but sell their body. Such tragedy. And I mean, these girls are nasty and beautiful from the whole spectrum.
Agree, because at the end of the day, you're raising a you overtalk. God damn it! If you try to overtalk me one more time, I will shut this shit down.
Now, I don't like the fact he cursed. I would definitely took God's name in vain. But I hate that. But I will never do that. But the fact is, I like that he could have said darn it and got the same straight discipline across to that woman, because she never had it, obviously, from her father.
I mean,
notice how she smiles.
I'll be honest, man.
Notice how she smiles. Even as he's like, I'm going to shut this crap down, she going to smile with this kind of fake ass grin.
I have one basic rule, okay? I know you have to hear me talking. Why are you trying to talk over or through me? Just explain.
I love that. He sets everybody, and every girl does this. And what this does is it slaps them down with respect. Because most of these girls never ever had a man. Like myself, I never did it to women either. I'll be on the phone with Marianne, and we're talking online, and she's in Oklahoma, I'm here in Atlanta. And I'm literally, we'd be straight 15 minutes of her talking about everything that she want to talk about. And she never asks you, Henry, how was your day? What are you doing? What's going on in your life? She's a 39-year-old woman, I might add. Ignorant, acting like she's 16. It was tragic. And as I was having a conversation with her, lighten it up. As I was having a conversation with her, I realized, my God, you're 39 years old. But here's the problem. Her mom was never there for her. Her mom was pretty much a nothing in her life. Died when she was 25, so she never had a mom because her mom died when she was 25. Her oldest sister was 20 years older than her and was playing surrogate mom, but there was an issue because older sister's husband raped her. The typical sad story, you molested by somebody that's a husband of your sister, some in-law. We heard that story every day. I don't know if it's all true, but I do know when I went to go visit New Bern to see her sister for the first time, her oldest, there was some issues between her and her oldest sister. Yes, they were. And I, of course, when I saw that, I said, strike number 2. But then when I saw how she kept her house, strike number 3. It was over.
Go ahead. Why are you trying to talk over or through me? Huh?
Poor communication.
Not poor communication. You're rude. And you're masculine. If a man were to do that, I'd punch him in the face. But you know men can't do that. And you're raising a boy.
But he's with his dad. So she ain't raising shit.
That's why I said, ma'am, I don't have to know all the details.
Rich dad.
But when you're good at what you do,
guys, so she can give away her kids.
Human beings, we like to think we're so special. Ma'am, you're a woman who was with a man who you chose to make a baby with when you knew you weren't going to marry him. That was extremely selfish.
Yes.
You chose to be a single mother. Did you go to college?
Yes.
Did you complete college?
I have.
What's your degree in?
Accounting.
Mm-hmm. So you're smart enough and literate enough to know all of the statistics regarding a single mother-led child, but you chose to do it anyway.
I did.
Right.
Do you hear the lack of accountability in her voice? I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. This is how a real person who feels remorse would say that to let you know whether they really, really took accountability. They would say it like this. I sure did. I'm so sorry I did that. I was really selfish. Please forgive me. Father, forgive me. That's when someone really, really is repentant and has understood that what they did was really wrong. She doesn't realize this. And she's gonna now later on try to come back and say in a nice 1-minute blog how she's grown and how she's learned from her mistakes. And Kevin Samuels starts destroying her because it's so fake. He'll reread it like a book.
And then you go from one man who you saying whatever the reason, then you go get with a man who's not even finalized his divorce.
Right, I waited until the divorce was final.
No, you didn't.
To solidify our relationship.
No, you didn't.
So that's what I'm saying. He was more in a rush than I was.
Oh,
So I did wait
Mm-hmm.
until the divorce was final.
When was the divorce final? That's what I want.
I got news for you, man. I got news for you. I got news for you, Chica.
Separated.
I got news for you, Chica. You shouldn't have been involved with this dude in the first place.
Well, we just hung out, just dating,
See, I want you guys to understand something. I want you ladies on.
Came right out, right there. We just hung out. That means they were fucking. We just hung out. That means they were fucking. You don't hang out. You have sex. People at her age of 35, 6, 7, 8, 9 don't hang out with guys. They have intimacies with guys. Just like every person would. Just like 30-something married couples don't hang out. There's no difference between having sex, being married, and single. Both are doing it. And ignorance is definitely not bliss.
To understand something. She's trying to make what her poor picking a virtue.
Yeah,
I said you wouldn't chose somebody who hadn't even finalized his divorce. And if she was really a wife and really accountable, she would have said, "You're right.
Exactly.
That was another poor choice on my part." I picked a man who was emotionally unavailable and tied to another situation. But she still tried to turn that into a veiled positive. No, 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 no.
Sick.
How about, my question is, why didn't you get with a man who was looking for a wife who was emotionally free and available and thorough? Why did you choose a man who was still married to help him commit adultery?
Now, boom. That's the ultimate question right there. Out of all this, that is the best, that is the number one question. To all you women out there that chase married men, that's the question. And you know what the answer is? She won't answer it. I'll answer it for you. The answer is, because I wanted him. Because I wanted what she couldn't have. I get to take the best of what she couldn't keep. It was, I wanted another woman's man. The same songs that we got in the 70s where it talks about, you know, you and another woman, and I'm gonna take you, you're gonna love me. There's a song I called You're Gonna Love Me, and what the song is, it's about an affair. It's adultery. I don't even know the whole lyrics. I just know that little chorus line. You're Gonna Love Me. That's the name of the song. Let me see if I can find out the song real quick. 1 second. I'll look it up on Google real quick. It's crazy when you hear it. But this is what my mama's generation had taught us and what we are teaching the kids of today. Sick. There it is. You're gonna love me. Listen to this BS. Now Tiana Taylor wants to do a remix of it, but you're sorry. But we're gonna, here it is. Jennifer Hudson now even does a remix of it in today's world. Okay? Listen to this line, because I make sure don't go blow it. We got a good video going on here.
Well, we weren't having sex at that time.
She got caught. We weren't having sex at that time. So they were having sex, as I just said, at that time. Lying ass, excuse my French. Trying to veil positive woman, veil positive. At that time. So you're having sex with you were having sex from day one. That's why you stayed. That's why you talking about we buying houses. An argument I make as a singles pastor, and I hate to argue this, but if you get with an unsaved woman or even a saved woman, 99.9% they want to have sex before they even get serious with you. We're talking in before. They know when they first meet you whether they want to have sex with you. So if you got any impotence problems or sexual problems, don't even go to a woman, because once they find out, they're not going to be with you. But on the other side of the coin, if you got kids, they don't care. They'll chase you with kids. As this woman knows, this guy got 3 kids. You know what she does? She says, okay, I got 1. I'll give up my kid to my other man so I can be with you because of this. Now this bullcrap song is what black people heard years ago. Jennifer Hudson just doing it today. But the song, when it was done, was a tragic song. And it sounds so good. A woman looking at you going, you're gonna love me. No, you can't make me love you. I can F you, but you can't make me love you. And the whole point of the movie was basically the guy was having sex with someone else, But the girl that wanted him, he didn't get her. She didn't get him. It's called the Dream Girls Beyonce movie with Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson and the great actor that was Jamie Foxx.
No, ma'am.
I don't think that. It was full.
God damn it! I don't. Full on adult. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It shouldn't have cursed right there. He got so pissed. All he had to do, Kevin. All he had to do, put her ass on mute. Let her talk to herself, thinking that she is actually talking to herself. And then you just say, "I got you on mute. I'm not listening to you." And then she'll sit there and realize, "Oh, I am on mute. He ain't listening to me." And then she'll feel like a fool because you running your mouth and going on and on and on. And he kept letting his blood pressure go up, getting mad, which I never do with a woman. Because I'm not gonna have a heart attack like Kevin Samuels had due to the stress that these women gave him. And he didn't even probably know he had a heart attack coming his way. And that's how he died.
Are there degrees of adultery?
Yeah.
Really?
What? There's no degrees of adultery.
Guys, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Separated. I mean,
Shut your. No.
Does no God.
No.
Does no God's word. Not a Christian.
I don't want to be rude, man, but I'm not gonna have you overtalk me.
There's no God.
See, I want you to understand, selfish women feel like they can make their own rules. This is why I told you to run from her, man. A woman who's...
He ain't running because the guy is excuse my French, F up too. He left his wife and 3 kids. So he's going to be chasing that vagina until that relationship breaks up. But they deserve to be effed up because he was wrong and she's wrong. 2 wrongs never make a right.
I'm gonna make my own rules, do what I want. And you said I'll be proud. No, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself before you start talking.
He muted her, so you did mute her.
Yes, so this is why I have been wanting to speak to you briefly, because I do agree that at one point in time I was very selfish and, out for self. I think that I've been fortunate enough to, have dated great guys.
She wants to get wealth. She wants to be rich.
Holy shit, look at that rabbit hyena just ripping this guy's nuts off.
I show no remorse.
Holy shit, look at that rabbit hyena just ripping this guy's nuts off.
And so now I'm here in
I love what he's doing. He's making sure that the rest of the people don't hear her talk, because he already knows and read her well. She's deceitful. Look how she's looking away from the camera. Look how she is looking away because she can't look at the camera. That is a telltale lie technique. Again, that's part of the lie. When you're really honest, you'll stare at that camera. Yeah.
I feel that I'm in the surrendering and, trying to let go of that masculine and controlling energy. And I just, want to be with them. So I do feel that we have to surrender, especially if we have these sabotaging ways, destructive ways in which I did. I want to have children unless I'm married. So, I've been listening to your show, and I've
tomorrow from 5 to 7.
1,000% there that our culture just needs to be better.
Now, how's she gonna jump over to our culture when your life is turned out to be a tragic life? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm talking about culture in the sense of my life has been a tragic life, but I admit my faults, and I talk about my faults in my life on my channel called Beyond Open Doors Ministries International, which is my singles ministry channel, where I've done lots of videos having that heart-to-heart with myself and having it recorded so that it can be saved for posterity. This woman probably is just the only time in her life she's had anything recorded of her with her talking about her beliefs. And the amazing part about it is Kevin Samuel's dead, and so this is immortal. And now if this woman learned anything, she go back and watch herself. She go back and watch all the videos, and one day say, "Oh, that's me," or but you know what? I doubt it. That woman will be the woman that you will see every day. That's 50 years old, been married twice, 3 sets of kids, one from the guy's first relationship, one from her relationship, and then a child she has with the guy. And that breaks up too.
No have a shoulder in you,
So I've come a long way, I would say, in the last 2 years after watching your show. So definitely, I didn't like your delivery. You're a very straightforward, raw, and uncut person, and so I really appreciate it now. And I think that I'm on my way to a successful long-term relationship.
No, you're not.
I think that, yes, to answer your question, sometimes you should surrender. As long as you're surrendering to the type of guy who's going to lead you in the right direction and take charge and just do the things that it takes to make you happy.
He turns the clock on.
So, I agree.
She could never stop talking.
How long do you think you were talking?
For less than a minute.
Less than a minute?
Was I not? I'm thanking you. I used to talk like cash shit about your show to all my friends. And
So here's the bullshit coming out. Excuse my French. I used to talk crap about you, but now here I am thanking you. Yeah, you were. You one of those people that still will be talking about him because he destroyed you on camera, showing how immoral you are. And the tragic part about it, there are millions of girls out there and guys out there just like him or just like her.
I don't know. Sometime in the beginning of 2021, like things just clicked.
Because
I rebuke.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm here to thank you.
Self-awareness is key, people. And I've tried to.
Totally. And that she's so unaware. She's so unaware. And that right there is what Kevin was brought out in so many messages. While she's sitting there thinking, trying to so-called thank him, she doesn't realize that she's got so many issues in her life that she will never be happy. She will not be in a long-term relationship. She'll be in a string of fucks. I'm sorry for cursing, forgive me. But she'll be in a string of sexual relationships. Oh, it gets me angry sometimes, man, when I see stuff like this.
Tell this woman, I've had to tell this woman how many times to not overtalk me. She said the issue's a communication problem. I've had to mute her. I've had to almost curse at her. And then when I just let her talk, she says she's been talking less than a minute. Man, you're talking almost 4 minutes. Over 4 minutes. I need you to understand something, ma'am. This is why therapy is so important. You are clueless. And that's okay. But somebody needs to be able to tell you. I get that you used to call cash shit, but still, you still are in the same place. Maybe not the same place, but you can't. That was a minute, ma'am. Don't overtalk me. The need to be right is so strong with you. You take a left turn and try to make it a right turn. Ma'am, at the end of the day, would you tell your daughter, if you had one, to pursue a man who hadn't finalized his divorce? Yes or no? No gray areas. Yes or no?
No.
Thank you. Then that's all we need to hear. Would you tell your daughter if she had a child by another man and she meant to pursue a man who had not finalized his divorce? What do you think your son sees, ma'am?
I would say that he's seen a lot of mistakes that his mom has made. And, I can't, all I can do is learn from those mistakes and not repeat them. And, take things slower. And I feel that that's
Ma'am, you were seeing a married man. Is the divorce final? Yes or no?
Yes.
How long has the divorce been final?
Over a little over a year now.
A little over a year.
Yes.
You were in a committed relationship with a man who was 2 years ago, but the divorce has been final over the year. Did you move for your job more than a year ago?
Earlier this month has been a year.
What's the next step in the relationship?
Well, if we decide to get back together.
Wait. You see that crap? You see what you just said? If we decide to get back together, who left who? You just heard her say now, the divorce got final a year ago. A year ago, the divorce was final. But then she says, if we get back together, he's already got another woman. Just like he found you, he can find another one. There's so many women out there. There's so many women out there. So many women.
I think marriage. We
Why would you marry a person that, you know why? Because she wanted him. Just like the movie, just like the song I heard, "You're Gonna Love Me," bullshit. That's exactly why this woman's screwed. Because she picked that wrong guy, and in her mind says, "You're gonna love me. I don't care what it's all wrong." And that's why when he said, Kevin Samuels said, "What is your 9-year-old son gonna think?" He's gonna think that you are a hoe. He's gonna think this mama is a hoe. His mama chased dicks. His mama chased men. His mama ain't ish. His mama is worthless. Now, he's gonna apply that to his own girlfriends and have effed up relationships because of the fact of what his mom has done. And all you heard from this girl was the BS. I call it the, I really call it, she's, the melancholy, phlegmatic. I think she's a phlegmatic. And phlegmatic, melancholic, choleric, or sanguine are 4 different personality temperaments. And if you study what's called the DISC survey that they do in business schools, you get to learn about your personalities. She's an accountant, so she had to take that exam. All of us in business schools had to take the test. D stands for dominant. I stands for, I think, introvert. I'm not sure. C stands for, I had to go back and study it. But it boils down to the other terminology for sanguine, which stands for laughing, happy, go-lucky life. Part 2, we're talking about the melancholy, phlegmatic, choleric, and the what we call sanguine. And studied Florence Littauer. She has a book on the personality temperament. A Christian author who sold millions of dollars in books on the temperaments is phenomenal. In the aspect of just jobs, work, we need to study these temperaments. And you learn more about yourself. We all got all 4 temperaments in us, but some of them are more dominant than others. 2 of them are really more dominant. So you got to learn those 2 so you know exactly the kind of woman you want and the kind of woman you want to be. My God, I can't believe I'm seeing all this. It's crazy. I'm watching a video and all these women are selling their bodies on a strip road at night for money in Figueroa Street in Los Angeles. And this is 2023. And the cops are not even out there. And these women are just selling their bodies. And the guy that's driving down the street, he just got a camera on the car and he just drives through the neighborhood. Thank God he ain't picking, we don't know, he could be picking these girls up. He might be a doggone John, in the name of Jesus. What get me mad? Wow.
We're looking for a home together. I believe that you should live with someone before you get married.
You
What? 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 I'm so glad I did this video, and I'm so glad I got part 2 of this. The asinine arguments. I believe you should live together before you get married. Who taught you this crap? Where did you get this crap from? Definitely one from the church. Definitely one from the Word of God. It's from the world. That's why this girl's screwed. BS crap.
You need to be in a straitjacket.
Totally.
Why?
Totally.
Well, the ladies in the hold on, excuse me. Honestly, what I need is I need some women to come up to the platform and talk to her. I need women to come up to the platform because she's not hearing me. I asked, what's the next step in the relationship? She said, if we get back together, marriage, but they're going to shack first. So I don't need you to. I don't need the amen choir, man. You're going to move your son in with a man who's not his father and not your husband. For what reason?
Well, my son lives with his dad.
Okay. Why would you? Thank God for small miracles. Why would you be moving in with a man prior to marriage? What do you hope to gain? What do you hope to learn?
Well, I just would like us to spend the time together, the 24/7 day-to-day time together, and then decide if marriage is what we want to do.
Foolish. We're going to spend time together fucking, and then we're going to see if we can get married.
I mean, he's okay with it. So
of course he's okay with it, dumbass.
He's okay with it.
God.
I understand why he's okay with it.
Anybody would, dumbass.
He can't do no better.
Why do you think?
Because he can't do better.
Well, he's been married before.
Ma'am, you asked. We pick what we can get. We can pick what we can get. And I'm talking to you right now. You need to ask yourself a question. What kind of, if a man would, if a man was in such high demand, no offense, man, but think about what we're talking about. He hadn't finalized his divorce. If he had, do you believe that human beings pick the best option that they have?
I think so.
Okay, and you're the best option that he has, and you're the best option that, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's it. That's why.
But neither one of you are great options.
And y'all gonna have a
at this point.
Y'all gonna have a failure.
Shacking up.
She had that audacity to go, I don't know why you don't feel that way. I mean, guys, if y'all watch this video to this point, and you hear a woman say, after all of the stuff that's been said out of her mouth from the many basic questions that were given to her, she comes up and says, I don't understand why you think why you feel that way. That you feel that it's wrong for me to live with somebody else before. I mean, it's just the idiotic, asinine crap. I mean, just like literally, this one thing about Kevin Samuels, he got so messed up hearing that all these unsaved folk that it blew him away because he should be with the church. No offense, what is it worth it to gain the whole world of notoriety from all these unsaved women out there and lose your own soul? They're not going to God. They don't want to serve the Lord. They don't want Christ. It's not, and I'm not going to be their Christ. Jesus Christ already died for them. And we can preach the gospel to them. And if they don't want to accept it, we got to keep it moving. The tragedy about it is that this girl probably moved on, got with that guy, he cheated on her, and now because she can't have babies no more. Remember, she 39 now, so the odds of her having a child is pretty damn low. Excuse my French. And the other boy is 10, her first boy is 10, hating her guts. Why? Because you chose another man to shack with, and it wasn't my father. And you didn't even have the damn balls to recognize you're wrong. Foolish.
Is not a trial run for marriage. Just like having a child out of wedlock, the science and the data on that settled.
Golly.
You know that.
No, she don't. No, she don't. She mentally ill. No, she don't.
So more decisions made in fear, scarcity, and lack.
No, she don't.
More women in charge of this stuff.
Yes.
You're running the process, not him. Would you disagree?
I think that we're on the same page.
Did he want to marry you before you moved?
We spoke about it.
Did he want to marry you before?
Anytime a woman says we spoke, that's a lie. You spoke. Oh, Kevin, these women are so normal. They say the same craps. And that's why he's so good at double answering, asking the same question, triple asking the same question, to drill down to the truth. Get her, Kev.
Before you moved?
There it is. Right there. You saw it. The look away. See the lie? Anytime a woman does the look away, that's called the deception tale. It means that what she's about to say ain't true. And that's why when I paused it, you see her smile there. That's the deceitful lie smile. So we can read people like a book, dog.
Did he ask you not to move, or did he encourage you to move?
He encouraged me to move.
Exactly. She's so dumb she don't even realize it. He wanted other women, and she didn't even pick up on it. When a man encourages a woman to move, he is gone. That's exactly right. I had a girlfriend by the name of Shay, and I met her in Atlanta, and I dated her for off and on about 3 years. I shouldn't have. The first year, we were 7 years old apart. She was 7 years older than me, but really it felt like 12. Her mind and her attitude and her life was boring and slow and staying in the house. And guess what we ended up doing 99.9% of the time? Staying in her house. She had a house. And I gained weight. I didn't go out and ride my bike. I didn't get a bike. I didn't buy a bike till like 7 years later. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work out. We didn't even work out. We worked out a couple times together. It never ever worked, because even when we try to do something, somehow it would always come back to being in her house. Lazy, sitting in her house, sitting in her house, sitting in her house, sitting in her house. And she was 30 miles away, so I had to drive 30 miles one way to go see her. And I could have dated other women, but I was stupid. I didn't want to date and break up with her. I lost 10 years of my life for that crap. In that time frame, she ended up going for 2 years to New York for a job. And I encouraged her to go because deep down inside, I really wanted to break up with her. So when a man encourages a woman to go take a job somewhere, it's saying that he doesn't want to marry you. Listen to what Kevin Samuel says. And this is common sense of being 40 plus years old. And for her being 39, she is so ignorant and uninformed because she had no father or mother to raise her correctly.
Why?
Because I, was going back and forth. Like I said, I had a great
back and forth what? Back and forth to work?
No, I was going back and forth with the decision on whether or not I was going to move across the country. Mm-hmm. And, it was a great opportunity, like I said.
Ma'am, think about what I'm asking. Men are territorial. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
See, they want to finish the stories themselves, ma'am. Men are territorial.
Mm-hmm.
Why would a man send a woman he wants away?
Exactly. For another woman.
I think because I would have resented the decision.
So I want you guys to remember at the beginning of the broadcast when I said that if you're going to be my woman, you're going to work for me because I'm territorial. See, when men are two different mindsets. That's why I say y'all are both don't need to be together. This is crazy. This won't work.
It won't.
It won't work. It won't work.
It won't work.
It won't work.
I know.
And you can talk all you want to, it won't work.
Yourself all day.
I'm back and forth, back and forth. All this is crazy. I'm going to move out here and you go on out there. Straight. I'm not finished. This is what happens when we don't. This is what happens when we don't get therapy. This is what happens when we don't do the work.
Exactly.
Broken people running out, bumping into broken people.
Exactly.
This is what happens when you don't do the work. Broken people bumping into broken people.
Exactly. She's not listening. She's not listening.
But I'm on the guy's side. Dude, you know you sent her away because she wasn't going to stay in our way.
Exactly.
What she said, I would have resented him. Selfish. You had a baby because you wanted a baby. You decided to make your child a product of a single parent household. All your decisions are about you.
It's all about her.
Run from women who think like this.
Tragic magic.
I don't care how nice they try to make it sound. Ma'am, all your decisions were about you.
Selfish. Bye, Ashley.
You gotta unmute yourself. All your decisions were about you, man. Your decision of a child was about you.
I like how you muted her too, because she can't say that no more.
Did your son's father ask for the boy?
No.
No, I asked him.
There you go.
Why?
Selfish.
Well, I got settled out here in California. I asked if it was okay.
Oh, okay. So when you went to go get the job that you wanted, that was about you. Because if you hadn't have gone, you'd have resented the man you trying to convince us that it's right with. But you left him because he know if you'd have stayed, you'd have resented him. Then you turned around and broke the daddy in the glass, who you just got the sperm donation for. Then you turned around and said, oh, by the way, even though you didn't necessarily I didn't want it to be your wife. And I decided to make you a daddy on the way out the door. Why don't you go ahead and take your son while I go live out in California? Selfish as shit, man.
Totally.
I've been home. I've been out here for a year, and I've traveled back to the East Coast 10 times within the year. So,
ladies in the chat room. Ladies in the chat room. I need ladies in the chat room. Don't overtalk me. Don't overtalk me. Don't overtalk. I don't want to hear that shit. Ladies in the chat room. If you believe she's selfish, put a 1 in the chat room. If you believe she's not selfish, put a 5. Ladies only. See, when women try to overtalk you, they know they've messed up.
Yep.
This is when they try to baffle you with bullshit or talk you into submission. That shit won't work here, man. You can smile all you want to. I can't make this shit up.
Couldn't make this stuff.
I don't make this shit up. I just talk to women. I just talk to women. I don't make this stuff up. I let women just talk. Look at the women. Look at all the ones. Look at the women. This is so sad. Yep, ma'am. I got no dog in this fight. You can shake your head all you want to. Look at her. She ain't nobody right. We all wrong. All of us wrong. Yep. Look at all these ones. Shout out Luke Casey. Look at her. Look at her. Look at all these ones. We all wrong. But go ahead. Unmute yourself because I do want you to speak. But man, before you speak, I want you to understand something. No one has a dog in this fight.
No one's
Can
trying
you
to make
at
love
least
to
be
you.
put your professional hat
No
on
one wants to have sex with
and
you.
just accept how it's coming across to people?
Exactly.
Sure. Well, because when I'm trying to tell you the entire story, it's just like I can't do that, and we don't have enough time for me to tell that side of the story, really, the entire thing.
Of course you can.
And it's just, I don't know.
Why do you? So you believe if I had enough information, I would side with what you're saying?
I think so.
No.
Exactly. No.
I'm just like, I feel that, moms relocate every day if they're pursuing a career or if there's a great opportunity to.
See, what I want you to understand something, folks. She said, I believe moms. Shut. Don't talk to me. I believe moms relocate every day if they're pursuing a career, and that's what's fucked up because you didn't say wives. I don't want to hear it. You said moms. You didn't say wives, and you said a career, and that's the same thing that's fucking up this country and our community. A bunch of selfish ass women doing what they want to do and trying to make us okay with it. Ladies, stop co-signing this shit. Gentlemen, stop dealing with it.
I am, brother.
And I guarantee you, if women stop co-signing this and men stop dealing with them, they would get the picture that this is unacceptable.
And she don't even
You, ma'am, chose to make a baby with a man you knew you weren't going to marry.
Yes.
You did that.
Yes.
You did that.
Yes.
You did that.
Yes.
It was selfish.
Yes.
You're with a man who's not completely divorced. You chose to be with that messy situation.
Yes.
You did that. And then I asked you, okay, if y'all are together, why did he choose to send you away? You said because he knew I don't need you to overtalk me. He said that he knew that if I didn't move, I would likely resent him. So he had no choice but to let you go do what you wanted to do. Then on your way out the door, you asked.
Look how great his mind was. He heard all of that, and at the very end gives it all back to her from exactly how she said it. There wasn't no mistakes. I want a listening ear as good as Kevin Samuels. That is amazing, sir. It is worth an hour of this video. It's worth it for me.
Daddy, hey, why don't you keep your son if I'd even marry you and I wasn't your wife? Why don't you keep your son? Because it's about you.
Yes.
Ma'am, it's selfish.
Yes.
Selfish.
Yes. Here's some noise.
Do you think your son wants to be raised split between mommy and daddy like this?
Well, that wasn't my intention. But
So you intended to marry him when you got pregnant?
no, not when I got pregnant.
Okay, then, ma'am, I asked the question again. Do you think your son wants to be raised split between mommy and daddy like this? Then I don't need to hear. See, that's why I don't need to hear your story. I asked, do you think your son wanted to be married or split between? No, but your intentions were not to marry him, so your intentions were to raise him split between mommy and daddy. See, I'm good at what I do, so I don't need to listen to your bullshit.
Thank you.
Well, it's not all bullshit, Kevin, because
Please.
It's bullshit that you decided to become a single mother based upon what you wanted, and you put yourself over what the best for the kid.
Excellent argument.
That's the bullshit. I don't care that you make enough money that you can afford to give him a higher quality of living. You can put him in private school. He can have a little Ralph Lauren outfit and he can speak 3 languages and play polo. I care the fact that he doesn't have a dad in the house.
Thank you.
That's what I care about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because fathers matter, ma'am.
Thank you.
Were you raised with yours?
yes. Until I was 9, he and my mom separated.
Why'd your mom leave your father?
Just irreconcilable differences. My dad, loved to enjoy himself and, partied, and so.
Is your father still alive?
Yes, he is.
Have you got your father's side of the story from his own mouth?
Not
No, and I don't want to hear this shit. Again, more women telling women lies. You know, ma'am, there are 3 sides of the story. Your mama's side, your daddy's side, and the truth. Don't tell me what your daddy did in his marriage if you ain't had enough respect for your father to sit your grown ass down and hear your father's side from him. You have little to no respect for men. And that's what this whole conversation has proved.
Yes.
And if the apple don't fall far from the tree, in a lot of these cases, you are raising a son.
Yes.
And this is why it matters. You wonder why the black community is at the bottom? Look who's raising the black boys. What chance do you have when the environment is so poisoned against what it is to be a
You
man?
have no chance. Deuteronomy 28.
Okay, so why were you against the fact that I asked his dad, my son's dad, to keep him?
I'm against the. You should. I'm against the fact that you made the decision to get pregnant outside of marriage. That's what I'm against.
Right.
You did that. You asked him to keep him not because it was best for
I
you.
love that. So y'all people who say Kevin Samuels weren't pro-marriage, Kevin was pro-marriage. I'm pro-marriage, but it's got to be done right. And I'm not pro-marriage to unsaved folk. She an unsaved girl with a broken mom, and that's why she's broken. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. Like the tree, like the fruit. Bad fruit, bad tree, bad fruit.
Son, because it was best for you.
Well, I think it was
Let me scratch. Let me ask you one question. One question. Have you signed over physical custody, primary custody to your child's father?
No.
no.
Thank you. Then I don't need to hear shit else. You're still mother of record. See, if you could, I would have gone with you if you said, you know what? I had him for the first 7 years, but you know what? It takes a man to raise a boy. I'm going to sign over custody. I'm going to be the non-custodial parent. You raise our son. I pay child support. Then you'd have had a dog in the fight.
I
Guys?
do pay child support voluntarily. So, and I travel back.
Oh, I almost cussed at you, man. I almost cussed at you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy shit. I almost paid child support. Oh, Jesus, don't cuss. Chick, he's got the boy.
I agree.
So I don't care that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
And it's temporary.
Made his blood pressure go up so high. That's why he died, man. I would have hung up on that girl.
You see how deified they make themselves?
Yeah.
But I do pay child support. How much you paying, man?
$600 a month.
And what state does he live in? Excuse me. What state does he live in?
South Carolina.
Uh-huh. What part of California do you live in?
San Diego.
Mm-hmm. How old is the son?
9.
9 years old. If you had to put your son in after-school care or any kind of extracurricular activities because you were working, how much would that cost you a month?
So after school is about 400 there.
400 when? 400 what? 400
$400 for a month
Uh-huh.
for after school. And then any extracurricular, I don't know, it might be an additional $200-300 a month.
So, ma'am, what you just told everybody is if you had your own son, it would cost you more. He's getting $600 to be with his daddy, but it would cost you an additional $700 for him to be there. You getting a deal.
Well, that's
I want you guys to understand, this is why I stand 10 toes down with the men. Because before I got to YouTube, I listened to stuff like this in family courts for too long. I listened to how women twist the narrative. Ma'am, all I did is let you tell you what it is.
That's right.
But I do pay child support. Okay, you pay child support. Is your child's father on child support?
he was.
He was.
So that's
Excuse me, is it state order? Is it court order?
yeah.
Has the court order been removed? It's a yes or no, man. I don't need to. Is it yes or no? No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't.
Yes, for now.
No, it's not. No, man. No, it's not for now. If the court order was been removed, it's removed. You'd have to file again. It's not removed.
Yeah, it is removed because I don't receive any funds from him.
Man, the court doesn't care. How long has your son been with his father?
For a year.
The court doesn't move that fast. Even if you petition the court and said, all right, we're going to change physical primary custody for a year, it would take over a year to get this done. What you did was you made a, hey, instead of you paying me, I'll pay you. And I hope that man has documentation showing that he has this. I hope that man has documentation that he has physical custody of his son, and the reason he's not paying child support because I don't care how you slice it, he's getting the deal. She's getting the deal.
Yeah.
Again, ma'am, I'll let you speak, but you can't overtalk me. When do you plan on having your son move back with you?
Well, it's supposed to be in August, but I don't want to move him to California at this point because I'm strongly considering moving back to the East Coast. So,
if your son says he wants to stay with his father, what are you going to do?
I would let him.
Let him?
Which he, yeah, I would.
Would you sign over physical primary custody?
Absolutely.
Whoever you are, sir, while you have your son, I suggest that you go down to the court of jurisdiction and you file to get this case closed. You should go get custody of your son, sir. Because this woman, no offense, ma'am, you're doing what you want to do and that's cool. Sir, get your son. Get your son. Allow her to live her best life. Allow her to get her on record for paying you your support. Just like you're on record for paying her support. Get all your rights. Not some agreement on an Excel spread file or Evernote.
What's amazing about this is because all the, excuse myself for saying this, but all the bullshit that his ex-wives did, Brother Samuels, that's why he is so good at challenging these stupid girls, because they're doing the same bullshit to their men, and he hated it. And it made his blood pressure go up, and I know he was angry, and I bet he was mad, and I bet he felt like crap. But the fact of the matter is, I so salute Kevin Samuels, and I love this little moment right here where he got that doggone witch right there looking that way, because he just slapped that witch in the face. You saw how the whole video went. It went from her looking on the left side or smiling and lollygagging bull crap. You be proud of me, to he ain't proud of you now. You like a damn ass. He ain't proud of you now. You know, you like a fool. And I'm sorry for cussing, but that stuff pisses intelligent men off because it's deceitful. It's deceitful. And this is from a MBA, an accountant, a CPA, a doggone so-called high-value woman. And is this what a high-value woman, a black woman is? No.
Is it shocking to hear me say stuff like this to you? Because apparently you thought you were looking at this a lot different.
Nah, he asked that weird question. That's why he's Kevin. Kevin wanted to get like feedback on the statements he was saying. Like, is this shocking what I'm saying to you? And I'm gonna tell you something. That sounds like some licensed family therapist person, because I've never been to one. I would love to go to therapists myself just to learn the process. But I am doing a lot of it just by watching these videos. But that's a question to think about when I talk to a girl. You know, you say the truth to her, then you ask her, is this shocking of what I'm saying? But see, the way he can say those truths is because he already been there with women. 2 of them. He was married twice. I can't do that.
I definitely was looking at this a lot different. I thought that I was doing the right thing in waiting on this last relationship and taking it slow. Again, like I said, he pursued me. I didn't want to enter into the relationship until the divorce was final.
But you started having sex with him. So here this BS crap. She's trying to keep going back and kind of revamping the whole story. But the fact is, you picked a man that was a married man. You was having sex with him in no damn marriage while this man is supposedly breaking up with his wife of 3 children. And you think because of money, because of clout, because of status, you will be better in next. You know how many women these women fall fat face first into second divorces.
I could have totally cut things off, but I didn't.
BS.
And
Yeah, that's
so
right,
the
you
divorce
did.
is final. And you know,
What kind? Do you think he would make a good stepfather for your son?
Absolutely.
How?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bull, BS. BS. BS.
I'm still gonna have a. I'm still looking at the fact that you were dealing with a married man. These things matter, man.
BS.
In my mind, I thought that because there was a legal separation, that it was okay to.
Ma'am, even if there's a legal separation, even if there's a. Okay, I tell women this, I tell men this. It's not. It's not officially done. See, people who are really clear. And I've done and understand something. I'm not perfect. I've done stupid, messy stuff too. And I look back at the stupid, messy stuff I've done, and I'm like, the only reason I accepted that stupid, messy stuff was because I was broken. There's no way I would accept some of the stuff and do some of the stuff I did back then as clear as I am today.
Right.
That's why I say we attract what we are. Man, I'm just showing you how chaotic this is.
Right. And notice the thing that he doesn't do. He doesn't talk about God. And that's the mistake that I'm going to talk about. The bottom line is that Yeshua is not her Lord and Savior. She is not being enlightened with the revelation knowledge of God's word about life, about relationships, about adultery, about the laws, about the rules of good, healthy living. And that's why she's doing the crap she's doing. She needs Christ. And that comes through the Word of God and faith in the Word. So we pray for this girl, many girls out there like her, because it's easy for us to get in the flesh and get angry at her, but we got to get angry at the guy too, because the guy was married and then picked her, as a lot of guys do. They, like he said, they want to. They go for the best they can get. I get it. A married woman is an easy piece of, you know what? You heard the story of married women. They got cuckolding. What do you think? Why do you think black men are chasing married girls today? It's called cuckolding, where women who are wives, hot wives is the term, are actually having sex with single black men and white men, but most of the time it's black men. Black men, because white women want our black penis. And the tragic part about it, though, is that the guy is this dupe. This guy who all he wants to do is come inside this woman's vagina. He don't care about the woman. He actually is proud that he deposited his sperm, loose with his seed, into a woman that is married with her desire. Excuse me for burp, but sneezing. With her desiring it. These women are so sick that they will manipulate their husbands to have sex with a black man, make the white husband think it's their own decision. Black man, like a dumb Hebrew slave that he is, don't really care. They call him a bull. And the guy goes and he starts having sex with all the single women out there. And there's plenty of single women in this earth to make love to. You don't have to have someone that is in a covenant marriage. So nevertheless, what this woman in essence is the opposite. She says, well, because he filed, or she or the wife filed, I'm gonna play Mistress. And that's what she was. Mistress Jane, Mistress Ashley.
Saying it now, it's like, well, my son is okay. He's not missing any meals. He seems to be a healthy kid. He's happy. Yeah, but he doesn't have the one thing that so many people in the black community had, while we were under Jim Crow segregation and black laws and all, he had families. He is split between mama and daddy, and I was a non-custodial parent, man. It's not the same. You are not a parent non-custodially.
Nope.
Any non-custodial parent will tell you you're really not a parent.
Nope. That's why I have no kids.
Kanye West is experiencing that right now. When you're not in the house, you don't make rules. You pay bills.
And now Kanye West is going and got a new woman he's married to. So now guess who's now going to get a new man? Now Kim Kardashian. So 20 it's been 20 years of their marriage. Now there's a divorce. And of course, she's got, the surgery now. They said she took all the fat off her butt, all the fat off her breasts, all the fake crap. But that she put it herself right after O.J. Simpson trial to chase black men. And now Kim Kardashian is, of course, a brand worth billions now, right? And Kanye West lost billions because of the fact he was, he spoke the truth about Hebrew Israelites, but the problem is the price, he didn't have his stuff covered to cover his bases. But the fact of the matter is that's wrong. Sleeping with someone's wife or husband is wrong.
And you hope. And my point is, man, we got here because you were honest and said, I wanted to have a child. But I don't know why so many of our women are okay with choosing to put children in a single parent situation based upon what you want. It's not fair to the kid. He has no siblings, right?
From his dad, yes. They're a lot older.
So in other words, no. So he's an only child as well. I'm an only child. Have you studied only child syndrome?
I'm an only child. I'm my mom's only child.
I get it. It makes sense.
There it is. I'm glad now. It's just amazing how prophetic this video is in so many different levels. Number one, Kevin Samuels is the only child. I'm not an only child. I have a brother. And so he came from a phenomenal mindset that I never heard of called the only child syndrome, where people who are only children become stuck up and they become broke. They're broken. Guess who this girl is? Another only child. Just like Kevin Samuels. And so I have to salute Kevin for the compassion that he has shown. Because as you can see, I would have kicked her off the show an hour ago. I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie to you. I have to say, maybe that's why I'm single. Because I'd rather do bad by myself than be in a relationship like this.
Only children tend to be selfish.
Amen. Amen.
So the takeaways of this, man. I know this might have been a lot, but think about your son.
She can.
And then think about your dad. You don't know your father's story from his mouth. Just like you wanted me to hear the story, all of the details, so maybe that would change my mind. Well, why don't you apply that same logic to your father?
Boom! Did you hear it? Oh, I stepped on something. You hear that, Lord? Yes, I heard it. The Lord heard it.
Well, my dad, after my mom and him split, he, remarried, and he's been in that relationship for about 27 years. And I mean, it just kudos to them for working through a lot, but it was extremely tumultuous because again, he portrayed some of the same.
Holy shit, you still don't get it.
Nope, she don't. She doesn't get it. See how it keeps going into the long wind? As everything the guy said, it just went below her head. All he said was go to talk to your father. And instead of her saying, I'm going to do that, she goes right into trying to explain what her mama's been saying for 30 years. Because remember, she's 39, so she probably heard this crap when she was 9. So repeating this bull crap for 30 years. Instead of saying, did you go to your father? How was your father with a woman for 27? If, but what with your mom? Maybe you didn't know that bull crap. Maybe because your mom was selfish too. Just like you're selfish.
You're judging your father's relationship. You're judging your father's relationship through your mother's eyes.
Thank you.
That's your daddy. I don't give a shit about your mama's troubles with her man.
He was a great father to me.
But you don't know. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to talk to the audience. This is what happens when you have. And did your mother remarry?
No.
No.
Your mother got a boyfriend?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And she had a boyfriend her entire life? Or she been single most of her life?
A boyfriend. Different boyfriends.
Women defend their mothers. Kids defend their mothers. And all I'm saying is, all I hear about your father is what's going on in his relationship with his women. Ma'am, I don't give a donkey shit about what's going on between him and his women. That ain't none of your mother flipping business, daughter. Do you understand that? I don't care what your dad is doing with his dick between his women. He is your daddy, not your man.
So what do you do? I spent most of my time with my father, and a lot of his actions and his characteristics.
Who had primary custody of you coming up?
My mom did.
Then I don't want to hear it. You spent a lot of time with your daddy. Ma'am, just listen. You are not going to be right in this one. You go in the comment section and look in the chat room and what the women are saying. I again stand on the fact that you chose to have a child outside of marriage. Selfish. Only child syndrome. You're an only child. Your mama's only child. You got to look at that. But the bottom line is, your dad could be the worst thing in the world to your mama. He's still your daddy. He's still your father. And you need to hear, and you need to judge your father. You need to judge your...
So this is so priceless. Why is this important? Because the daughter of Kevin Samuels did not listen to this advice. When Kevin Samuels died, just a year after this video was posted, the daughter came online and said some stuff on YouTube about how Kevin Samuels wasn't here for her, wasn't there for her. He only had one daughter. He was smart. He didn't give his sperm up to women to make babies. And so what that's happened was dad leaves her $4 million in life insurance, right? But at the same time, he's such a horrible father. His legacy is phenomenal now. No matter what people say, no matter the cuss words he might have said online, no matter some of the stuff he said, even the lack of religious teaching, because he didn't go to seminary like me. God's not gonna hold him to that standard like he holds me to. But the powerful point about it, which is so powerful, can't believe this. They make this little academy like it's a barracks and stuff. But it's high school. I mean, no offense. It's high school. Sorry.
Mother, as harshly as you judge your father, give your father as much grace as you give your mother. Forgive both, forgive yourself, and move on. Because if you don't see, I don't think you see it right now. That's why I say therapy. Because far too many children, and especially in our community, don't get a chance to be kids. We are put in between of our parents' fucked up relationships.
Amen. And that applies not only to him, to us, but to his own kid. And that's the thing. Now she's missing her dad because she's watching these videos and probably never watched them at all. Her friends are going, your dad saved my life. Her friends are going, your dad got me married. And she's looking at it going, that was my dad who said that? My dad said that? My dad wasn't as nasty as my mama kept saying he was. Maybe my dad wasn't as bad as my mama said he was.
And it's fucked up because they weren't married. Most of our parents weren't married. We were born as a result of a fuck.
Amen.
And it sounds harsh. We were born as a result of a good time, not a loving marriage and a plan.
That's right.
And our parents may have loved us, they may have done the best they can for us, but they didn't plan for our births. They didn't plan for our lives. We survived. We weren't raised in a loving environment. And we sit back and we have to have reverence to things that's not healthy.
That's right.
That doesn't mean you need to crucify your mother or deify your father, but you need to just get out the fact that's your daddy. That's your daddy. You need to know. Let me sit back. Stop judging your father's relationships. He's your daddy. How come other races of women can do this? How come you can see non-black women whose fathers can be adulterers, philanderers, gamblers, addicts, and you still hear him say, but that's my daddy. I love my daddy. But black women in particular,
that's how I feel. Like my daddy, he's still my dad. And like I said, he was a great father, but he was a terrible partner. And
why do you keep going back to his partner? I don't care what kind of partner he was. Anyway, I asked you, did you, and why this is important, folks, because I asked her, did she know her father's side of the story from her mouth? You don't get it. I've had enough. I put enough time into it. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. Enough. And I want you to understand how invested we are in our own stories. I want you to understand how often he keeps going back to trying to talk about what kind of partner he was. Kicking ain't your partner. And this is why so many of our women are incapable of relationships. Young lady, the woman who said you live with your dad, I said, what did you get taught? And I want you to understand, what the women teach the girls is what they do.
Yep.
Women teach the girls to look at the men like they look at their fathers.
Yep.
So girls are put in a position between wanting to be a daddy's girl and love daddy and defend mama.
Yep. And look at her shaking her head. Look at her shaking her head. She don't agree, but that was straight truth. Priceless. This is excellent.
Hold on.
Hold on. Who are you talking to?
I mean, it's not easy, but I don't. It's one of those things to where this is why so many times when black men are asking, what should we do? It's like, whew.
Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. May your words and your logic be transferred through our studying of books you've read and other books you haven't to the future. May we be able to go to the future and be able to apply these. It's too late for this girl. And I hate to be harsh, but it's too late. 39-year-old woman, 40-year-old woman that doesn't want to let go of crap that her 60-year-old mom has told her, or 58-year-old mom has told her, whatever her age is. You're not going to just turn that crap off in one call to Kevin Samuels or anybody or any counselor. The tragedy is that you're going to pay. You're going to pay. That boy is going to pay. That's going to be the hardest part, is that boy right there. He's going to become an 18-year-old father, and he's going to do the same things that his mom did. You can't, I hate to say it, as he said classically, most of the children were born of a good F-U-C-K, a good uck. They were not planned for it. I don't think my father planned for kids. That's why my mama got pregnant with my oldest sister who had died, and it was miscarried. We don't know what that kid's name would have been, but then I was conceived, and then my brother was conceived. Okay, and the reality is, it turned out horrific because then my father cheated on my mother with another woman in Virginia. My mom sees that, and that's why she divorced him. And that's why I told my aunt the other day, I said, you need to look at the truth here. If you're going to talk about the truth, talk about the whole truth. Don't half it. Because I know the truth. I heard it from her mouth. And I'm a guy, and I'm listening to a woman tell me about my father. And, you know, my aunt would try to tell me, you should know about your father. Well, listen, woman that's not a mom, a woman that has no kids, woman who never ever been married, you have no right to talk about that. But if you had a father that didn't do the right by you, did not raise his children, and not just by me, by Michelle. Now Michelle is a grandmother because Michelle's only son has a daughter, a child. And that boy was only 18 years old. So you see, he was having sex probably at 15. Dumbass. But what you expect? Deuteronomy 28. And I'm sorry, but I get angry and I call everybody that has a baby out of wedlock a dumbass because they deserve to be called that. We got to crucify our kids so that the next generation learns that's not the way to be. Because in our black community, people are proud to have kids at 15. They're proud to have kids at 18. They're proud to have kids at 21. They're proud to have kids without being married. Yes. They're proud to have kids without being married. It's ridiculous, man.